always wanted a little sister. I would beg my parents, please, please, and they'd roll their eyes and tell me that it wasn't as simple as I thought. That didn't stop me from talking about it every chance I got, though. When they brought Sarah home, it was the happiest day of my life. She was so cute. I couldn't wait to share my toys with her. I started going through them, deciding which ones were hers and which ones were mine. I borrowed Daddy's label maker and started putting our names on each thing so we wouldn't get them confused. She cried a lot at first. I'd asked my parents why she cried so much and they just told me it was natural. They said when she got used to us in our house, she would calm down and not cry all the time. Sometimes, though, she'd cry so loud that Daddy would have to take her into the basement where it was soundproof so the neighbors wouldn't complain. She slept in Mommy and Daddy's bed for the first month. Sometimes I tried to join them, but they'd always lock their door. Mommy said their bed wasn't big enough for all of us to sleep in. I was patient. I knew the new bed with the bars that they set up in my room would eventually be hers. When they felt it was safe to let her sleep on her own, they started putting her in it. She wasn't crying so much anymore by then, and I would lie in bed and watch her sleep from across the room. They'd take her into their bedroom first and lay with her until she fell asleep, then move her to our room. Some nights after she was moved, though, I'd see her laying there with her eyes open, just staring at the ceiling. So I'd go over and give her some toys through the bars. A lot of the time, she'd just throw the toy and then start crying, and then I'd have to hide under my covers before Daddy came in to deal with her. Eventually, they started letting Sarah sit with me in the playroom. I was told that I wasn't allowed to give her anything too small or sharp that she could hurt herself with. Oh, I was so happy! I would sit behind her and brush her hair and tell her that she was the best little sister in the world. Oh, I showed her which toys were hers and which were mine, but she didn't seem to care. Oh, sometimes we'd sit in the window seat and she'd bang on the window while I drew on it with special crayons. Oh, school started back up at Sugar Creek Elementary, and I went, but Sarah had to stay home. Mommy said she wasn't ready for school yet. I'd come home, and then I'd tell Sarah all the stuff I learned. I drew pictures of us playing together. Oh, and when I showed them to Daddy, he'd tell me thank you, and then he'd take them to keep in his office. And then came the really bad day. I'll never forget it. I came home from school, and Mommy was just sitting at the table, smoking. She looked really sad. I went to play with Sarah, but I couldn't find her. When I asked Mommy where she was, she started crying. I asked her what was wrong, and she said that Sarah was gone. I didn't understand, but I started crying too, and I told her we need to find her. She just shook her head and said that she was gone somewhere that we couldn't go. Daddy took apart her bed. He threw away all my drawings with her in them. He took my name tags off the toys. Sometimes I'd find one he missed and it made me cry. I started collecting them and hiding them, but he found where I hid them one day and kinda got really mad. We weren't allowed to talk about her. It was like she never existed. I didn't think that was fair. I told Mommy that Daddy was mean to make us not talk about Sarah, but she said it was better that way and I would understand when I was older. I saw Sarah again, though. It was just one time, but I'll never forget it. I was with Mommy doing some errands, and we went grocery shopping, and then we went to the fabric store in Thorntown so Mommy could look at the material to make some new curtains out of it. She remembered that we had letters to mail, so we stopped by the post office to buy some stamps. I was humming to myself and reading the posters while Mommy talked to the lady behind the counter, and that's when I saw Sarah. She was as cute as I remembered. I walked over and I looked at the poster with her picture, but they'd gotten her name wrong. Somebody had written it down as Shannon. But I rushed over to Mommy and I tugged on her sleeve and told her that Sarah was up on the wall with the other pictures of the children. But she got all flustered and apologized to the lady before dragging me out of the post office. Oh, I had to shout because she kept trying to talk over me instead of listening. I saw Sarah! They got her picture on the wall in there! finally, Mommy just slapped me and told me it wasn't Sarah, and that it may have looked like Sarah, but I was mistaken, and if I didn't stop, I'd get in real trouble with Daddy when he got home. I cried, and I promised to be good, but even after I promised, I wasn't allowed to have dinner, and I had to sit in my room that night. I heard Mommy and Daddy talking in the kitchen, and they got really loud. Someone started banging open the kitchen drawers, and then Daddy's feet stomped up the stairs, but I heard Mommy scream, "Don't you dare!" And he stopped outside of my room and then went back downstairs. We never really went back to the post office, and I never saw Sarah again. This is the first time I talked about Sarah since that day.